Flosstube, and you're watching The Stitcher's Pit. Before we get started today, I'd like to talk about something that I've realized about myself. Because, you know, self-recognition is the key to growth, right? So, I'd like to kind of talk about something I realize I do when I'm at the gym. Now, since my surgery, I have been going to the gym fairly regularly, as much as I can. For those of you who don't know, I was born with both sets of sex organs, and now I'm basically down to one. But since the surgeries, I have been on the treadmill, lifting weights, doing what I can to, you know, keep my heart pumping. And I've noticed a few things that I do when I'm on the treadmill. Number one, I run like a total girl. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, if you're a girl. But I run kind of like arms tucked in, elbows tight, right? Like some effeminate T-Rex. Palms down, hands open, and just swinging like this as I go. It's pretty bad. It's pretty rough, and you know, there's no real coming back from that, you know, once you've realized it, because then you try and stop and you just look like you're stiff and you're just like running like a robot. So I don't know which one's worse, but the second thing is that farts just fall out of me when I'm on the treadmill. I don't know if anyone else has this problem. Maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses for it, okay? That's not why I'm here. I'm just here to point these things out, okay? I'm just recognizing them. And usually when you're running and you're farting, it usually happens in stride with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I've got my earbuds in. I'm listening to my music. I have no idea if this is making sound or not. The people around me probably do. But I just figure if I just keep moving, no one will say anything, right? So what, you know, I've started trying to do the whole cough thing to cover it up, you know, because it surprises me too. Like the look of surprise on everyone else's face is pretty funny, but I kind of have that, yeah, there it is, you know. But like if you can tell that it's coming and you're not going to be able to stop it, you can try and do the cough thing to cover it up, but that doesn't always work because, you know, who coughs like this? With that kind of upward inflection at the end. The third thing that I realized about myself when I'm on the treadmill is that when, like, I can't do multiple things on the treadmill. I can do one thing, and that is treadmill. If someone comes up and stands next to me and starts talking to me, I have to shut the treadmill off, turn off my iPod, take out my earbuds, stop and look at them as they are talking to me. Because if I attempt to keep running as they're talking to me, I will fall off of the treadmill and probably break my leg. So, those are just a few things I've noticed about myself when I'm jogging. So anyway, let's talk about conversions. I think everybody should do conversions in their charts because it's adding your own flair to it. It's putting your own touch, your own creative touch on what is essentially going to be your artwork. So I think it's important. I think it's important to do at least one conversion, one change to every chart that you stitch. And it doesn't matter how big or small it is. You know what I mean? If it calls for a tulip over here in the corner, put a battleship there instead. You know what I'm saying? If it's calling for a little blue butterfly, put a constipated pink duck on there. Whatever. Just change it a little bit. or a lot, whatever. It's up to you. But it's yours. It's what makes it unique to you. But a lot of people out there that are stitching don't feel that they are creative enough. And I understand that, because there's a lot of pressure. I mean, you're going to get kind of judged on this a little bit. You know, people are going to see it and say, that doesn't look like a constipated pink duck, you know? You can see he's got the little sweat marks over his eyes and stuff, like he's really struggling, but, you know, that could be, he could have a hernia for all we know, you know? So for you people who don't think that you are creative enough or have it in you to convert parts of your chart, I made a cheat sheet here. A couple of cheat sheets, actually. And on them are just basic conversions that you can do. Okay? For example, the first thing, when you're doing a chart that calls for a residential house to be stitched, some sort of home, instead of doing the house, replace it with a big shiny red monkey ass. That's a conversion right there. That's great. And the best part about that is when you get a row of houses, it'll just be monkey ass after monkey ass. Just like a whole plot full of them, you know? That'd be great. I think I'd move into that neighborhood. Number 2, when a chart has you stitching the letter S, and this is important because a lot of charts out there have you doing the alphabet. And, you know, alphabet's kind of boring because you know what's coming next. That's when you convert, okay? You convert, every time you see the letter S, replace it with the letters TH, okay? But right next to each other, you know? Just TH, and then go to the next letter. And then when people say, this chart is wrong, you know, the alphabet's messed up here, you can say, yeah, I know, I realize that, but do you like my thar? Get it? There's a joke there. Think about it. Okay. Thar. Number 3, if you see a bird, put a penis where its beak should be. I feel that's pretty basic. It's a little obvious, you know, but effective nonetheless. Number 4, when it calls for flowers, you don't give them flowers. Instead, you give them lightsabers. That's great. Just a vase full of lightsabers. You can do red and blue, you can purple if you're into the Mace Windu stuff, whatever. But that's a great conversion right there. That's a good one. That's a keeper. Number 5, if you see wings on anything, no matter what it is, whether it's a pterodactyl or an angel. Actually, a pterodactyl would be kind of cool. Yeah, a pterodactyl like carrying like flowers, which would be lightsabers. That'd be badass. Anyway, if you see wings of any type, replace them with waffles, okay? Now, you can do French toast if you're not into the whole continental breakfast thing, but I feel waffles have more of an impact, you know, a reflection on society, and that's important in your stitching. You replace people with cucumbers, that's an obvious one. Number 7, instead of fruit, you replace it with mustaches. You know, just a bowl of different mustaches. And then under or over it, you can put, you know, who wants a fruit ride? And last, my cats are yelling at each other behind me. I don't think they like the mustache idea. Easy, Buster. You're angry at your father, not at Dharma. He doesn't control you anymore. He's just staring at me. Last, you get rid of get rid of windmills. Windmills are overdone. Everyone's seen windmills. They're all over the place. Instead, you put up Princess Buttercup, who is the prettiest My Little Pony in the whole land. Those are just some ideas. Feel free to use them, or do your own. It's up to you. We are here with Kelly Evergreen. May the odds ever be in your favor. We're talking about conversions, and you convert most of your charts. At what point would you say you're just fucking with people's charts? Just changing it to change it.
Mostly.
Really? So, would you say that you change at least one thing in every chart that you do?
Yes. There's only one chart that I did nothing to, and that was the very first one.
No, I mean, we're talking just changing colors, or are you talking like I'm removing this and adding something in its place?
I think I've done that.
Like what percent, like what's the largest percent you've changed a single chart? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever done a project where you changed half of the entire chart?
No, not that much.
Okay, like a quarter, or?
Probably not even that much. It's like smaller areas.
Okay.
I have one, my Quaker Gone Tropic, and there's a sailboat.
Okay.
And I took that out, and I designed a pirate ship and put it in its place.
Okay, so you just, when you say you designed it, I mean you mapped it out, you colored it and everything. Like,
yeah,
did your own color and everything.
Yeah.
And did you use something as a template for that, or did you just kind of?
I mean, I looked at photos of what a ship of the era of pirates looked like to guide me.
So, but you say you change at least usually one thing in every single piece that you do.
Well, if we're talking about,
anything.
The structure I don't always change, but I'm always like
adjusting a color.
Yeah.
Then when you do that, do you stay within the same hue, the same color?
Sometimes.
Or do you just go completely all out different?
Both. I've changed one of my mirrors that was supposed to be like all red, and she's all emerald green.
Okay.
So that was a full one.
Okay. So
I changed a white 1930s-esque mirror into a Egyptian woman.
Okay. All right. So you were talking about captivating audiences with your videos. You said some of the Lindy Stitches was a little bit more pizzazz than your videos.
I would say so.
So, well, what I thought I could help you do is give you some ideas maybe that could pizzazz up some of your videos for you.
I'd appreciate that.
Well,
it's been a while since I've done a video.
Yeah, you're not very like regimented with it. You're kind of.
I was, and then I moved,
and
then it just quickly fell by the wayside. So.
Well, any reason, or you just?
I think at first it was just the moving process that threw me off, and packing everything up, unpacking it again, and then getting back into the swing of filming. And am I even saying words right? I'm like saying things and they sound different.
No, I got you. We're both extremely high right now. It's all that LSD that we did right before we started filming. Like, this picture looks like it's melting behind her. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Yeah, if you can't tell, we're in, like, it seems incredibly noisy in here to us because it's very echoey and loud, so hopefully it won't drown us out or anything like that. But anyway, getting back to your videos. Okay, first idea. Do you know anyone in AC/DC or Guns N' Roses that could play in the back as you do your videos? Because that would be a great house band for you, I think.
I personally don't know them.
Can you get to know them? Can you make a call? There's got to be someone. We'll work on that one.
Yeah,
we'll have to work
on that one. I mean, I'm not sure I'm ready to, go the way of, groupie.
Right.
Pull up. Woo! Wanna help me?
No.
Not too comfortable.
No, probably not. But I'm willing to bet those guys probably at this point will do anything for a couple of bucks. You probably just get them a 6-pack. It's like having your friends help you move. Get them a pizza and a 6-pack, and they'll help you. I'm sure you can lure them in with.
I don't know. Steven Tyler, he's doing like country music now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm really into that.
Yeah. Second idea. Every time you say stitch in a video, follow it with the word murder. Yeah. So you'd say something like, so I bought this cross-stitch murder chart that I'm going to stitch murder for Stitch Mania. Murder.
Stitch Murder Mania.
There you go. You can put it in between every single one. I think people will really respond to that pretty well.
I think the police department will respond very well too.
You can use glitter and unicorns. Always.
No.
You can borrow some of My Little Ponies.
No.
You know I got a bunch of them, right? According to Lori, I have.
I'm aware you're a fan. You're a brother.
I do have the shirt. Yeah. Not a fan of the glitter and unicorns, huh?
No.
Did something bad happen to you when you were little? Something with glitter and unicorns that?
No.
Just not a fan. Can you do an entire video while on fire? I think they have that like petroleum stuff that goes on the other outside of like if you have gloves and stuff like that, and just sit there and talk and just burn away while Guns N' Roses is playing behind you.
And while I'm talking about cross-stitch murder.
Cross-stitch murder, riding on a unicorn. Oh wait, no, you're not going to do the
unicorns. No unicorns, no.
How about if you just randomly go around your house slapping things? Cats, Jell-O molds, hams.
Who makes Jell-O molds?
My grandmother.
This is the 1970s.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just something you could do. If I get you some Jell-O molds, you can go around slapping.
You'd also need to outfit me.
Just slapping it, going murder, murder.
You'd have to outfit me with a contraption with which to film. I usually like to stay stationary.
That's debatable. You tend to move around a bit. I mean, you don't like walk around your house or anything, but you're animated somewhat.
However, if you got me a little like setup with the camera right here, it could be like a Blair Witch.
Yeah,
thing.
Totally. And then you can just run around your house and.
I'm gonna cross-stitch murder this Jell-O mold.
The problem with that is that you tend to get a lot of views straight up your nose.
Okay, well, you'll have to anchor up higher to look down because that's the more flattering view. I mean, everyone on social media knows this.
You don't want to cut out all the ponies.
There are no ponies.
I'm telling you, that's the money in this. The money is the ponies. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. You guys, you and your husband do a lot of traveling. You were talking about going to Virginia. Is that right? And you had gone to, obviously, Seattle quite a bit. What are, let's say, your top 3 places that you would go?
That we haven't been?
Yeah. Other than prison.
Okay, well.
Yeah, just cross that one straight out.
Perfect. We would probably go to Romania and go to Vlad's castle.
Yeah, of course. Of course, yeah.
Why would...
Draculia.
Yeah, I don't know why would you not want to go
Right,
there?
no, that's on everyone's. That's like the second happiest place on earth would be like...
Second?
Yeah.
That would be the first happiest.
Well, Disney World is the happiest place on earth. Isn't that what they say? I don't know. That's their little caption, isn't it?
Maybe for creepy people.
Yeah, so, okay, you're going to Vlad the Impaler's.
Yep.
Okay.
Might hit up, Tower of London.
Okay. Okay, so I've been to London, and I mean, it's miserable. It's cold, it's rainy, even in the summertime. I'd imagine it's a lot like Seattle.
Yeah, I imagine so. it sounds amazing.
You and I have two completely different definitions of the word amazing. Where would be your third place?
Third place.
I'll tell you mine. You want to know mine?
I would.
Number 1, Mars. Red Rocks. Number
You're
2.
You're not coming back from Mars, though. What are you trying to say?
Who wouldn't want to go to Mars? Have you ever seen Total Recall?
But if
there is a woman up there with 3 breasts. 3. I've seen them. So what if one's paper mache? Number 2 would be the Shire. And number 3 would have to be Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, that's an interesting one.
There's a lot of toy conventions out that way.
Toy?
Yeah. Toy. No, like G.I. Joe toys. Not.
Okay.
You want to go to Cincinnati with me?
No.
You want to go to Mars?
No.
3 breasts. Maybe you didn't hear me.
I heard you.
So where would be your last place?
Maybe up to the Canadian Rockies, so I can cross-stitch Murder in Peace.
And what is the, Canadian Rockies? That's
like where?
Yeah.
Alberta.
Oh, all right.
Like Banff.
Okay, so have you been to Canada? Like being in Seattle, Vancouver's directly north of there, right?
Yeah, I've been to Vancouver and Victoria when I was younger, but I haven't been when I was an adult.
Okay. So are you a sports fan at all?
No.
No, Seattle. No. Do you watch hockey at all?
No.
No. Damn.
I've been to a hockey game in.
But Seattle, or I don't think Washington State doesn't have a hockey team. Like there's really nothing up there unless you go to Vancouver.
I don't think it's a big deal hockey, but I have been to some.
Not a big deal.
I've been to some sort of hockey.
There are Canadians that are mounting an attack as we speak.
There was some sort of hockey event, and I was there, and people were throwing the fish onto the ice because that's what you do.
It's a hat trick. Yeah. Were you in Detroit?
We were in Seattle, and Pike's Place, you throw the fish.
In Detroit, what they do is they throw squid. Not squid, octopus. They throw octopus on the ice. When a guy scores 3 goals in one game, it's called a hat trick. And when a guy scores 3 goals in the game in Detroit, they throw squid. They throw octopus.
Are there octopi in the Great Lakes?
There is. First off, they don't sell the octopus at the stadium, so you have to smuggle your own octopus in there.
How?
Creative. You have to get creative.
Okay.
I guess if you go to enough games, you figure out the places where they won't search you.
I guess if you have one of those metal water bottles, you can just shove the octopus. I mean, octopus are really good at getting into small places. So you can smuggle it in that way. And then it probably dies because it suffocates.
I don't think they throw live octopus on the ice.
No, they start with it live.
Okay. So it dies halfway. Yes. That's kind of morbid.
Well, I'm not doing it.
No, of course.
So.
Of course. I think that we've discussed smuggling octopi way too much. You can never talk about smuggling octopus. All right, I got here your questions sent all over the world from all your fans everywhere. These are the things everyone wants.
The 2?
Those 2 right over there.
Okay, cool.
You want to take a sip of coffee for this one? It's about to get real.
All right. You might try and make me.
No, not at all. You might want to check that there might be octopi in it. Those things ink, I mean, once you shove them into a container, you have to get rid of that container. It's done.
No, you dye your fabric so you can cross-stitch murder on it.
I like how you're sticking to the bit. All right, number 1 question. Choose any cross-stitcher, murder, and give them a new handle. Like your evergreen needle, I would call you Katniss Evergreen. Yes, that's the joke. Are you there?
I'm there.
We're there now. So, pick one cross-stitcher, the handle, and give them a new name. Any name you want.
I don't think I can. I think everyone, when they pick a name, or if they use their own name, that's telling to them, at least at that point in time, when they make that.
All right, then, if you were not Evergreen Needle, what would you be? If you had to give yourself another name. Rename yourself. Because I'm assuming you've had that name since you started.
Yes. I can't imagine any other name.
How about...
You name me.
Flying Octopi. I did.
You know what? That works, because I've done quite a bit of...
Flying Dead Octopus.
I've done quite a bit of mermaids, so that fits. That's fitting.
All right.
I'm very smart.
I can tell.
Octopi. Are very smart.
But you don't like unicorns.
I don't.
See, that's a deal breaker. I'm sorry. Number 2, either you always have a Metallica shirt on. Not always, but you wear a Metallica shirt. So either you're a fan, or you only have one shirt and you're disgusting. So what's it gonna be?
I'm a
fan. All right. What's the best Metallica album to date? You're not an album listener, are you?
I don't know the names of the albums. I know the names of the songs.
All right. What's the best song?
Until It Sleeps.
Nope. You can get another guess if you want. Until It Sleeps is on, what is that, Load?
I think so.
Yeah.
Fine, 1.
Okay, you're getting closer, but still wrong.
So if I have to guess your favorite.
It's really bad that you don't even know your favorite song or album. The best album is Ride the Lightning, but I would have accepted Master of Puppets, which, by the way, is a great song.
I'm better with, let's go with Nirvana.
I was about to say, why is it you're a Metallica fan?
I have a Nirvana shirt, and my very first crush ever was Kurt Cobain.
Yeah, of course. Why not? I mean, that sexy, greasy hair? Oh, yeah.
I was convinced I was going to marry him. Never mind the fact that he was already dead.
Okay. That's a little creepy, but all right. Have you seen Courtney Love?
Yes.
I mean, do you think you could, when she was married, or at any point, really, when she was Courtney Love?
She's cleaned up a little bit.
I don't know about that. Look, if that's the type of woman that Kurt Cobain goes for.
Hey, do you know Courtney Love? Way to
like
judge.
Personally?
Way to judge.
Personally? Do you think we can get her in your video? She'd have to get a fucking shot first. Just to be near her. So are you more of a Seattle fan? Like Seattle music fan? All right. How many musicians can you name that came from Seattle?
That's not fair. You're putting me on the spot.
That's right. That's exactly what I'm doing. Go for it. You got Nirvana.
Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Soundgarden.
There you go.
Now you're making Alice in Chains.
I'm wondering if Alice in Chains is Seattle. I think they are. They might be.
I think so.
I think you're right.
But see, now I'm drawing a blank because I'm...
How about the greatest left-handed guitarist of all time?
Jimi
Hendrix.
Yes.
He's from Seattle.
Yeah, he's buried in the city that I grew up in.
Well, you failed to mention him. Yeah. Let's get to the next question.
He's been dead for at least over...
Kurt Cobain's been dead for over a decade.
Before I was
Jesus, when did he
born.
die? In 94?
Yeah. April 94.
God damn, what, do you got a tattoo of it somewhere on you? Ah.
I told you, I was going to marry him.
So are you more of a...
I was going to have one of those Mormon marriages where you can get married after someone's already died.
Yeah. Yeah, we call that necrophilia.
Well, I'm not going to dig him up.
Oh, no, that would be weird.
That would
Marrying a dead guy, fine. Yes. Digging him up, creepy.
I want to live with him in the afterlife so I can have that great music.
So me and some of my friends back up north, we used to have this discussion all the time because we had one guy that was hardcore Nirvana and one guy that was hardcore Pearl Jam. Sounds to me like you're leaning more. You're more Nirvana.
I probably grew up more Nirvana, but maybe now.
Well, it's like that's like everyone started with Nirvana, right?
Yeah.
But then some people go with the more like radio-friendly stuff that Pearl Jam did, as opposed to the aggressive.
My mom wasn't exactly a fan of when I wanted to listen to "Rape Me" when I was like 10 years old.
Yeah, I can see why.
She'd literally be like, "No, we're not listening." I was like, "Why?" I don't.
She wasn't like, "Someday, honey, you're gonna marry that man." All right. Question number 3. You play with your hair a lot in your videos. Is that because?
Do I?
Yeah, constantly. Is it because it's a wig?
You think I would choose this as my wig?
I guess it's better than bald, right?
I don't know. Well, bald is beautiful. My husband's bald. So.
Okay. But the funny thing is that it was like there's a point in your videos where you're like, I figured you knew you played with your hair because there was suddenly you just started wearing hats all the time, which I assumed was basically a chastity belt for your head, so you'd stop playing with your hair.
Are you sure you're watching my video?
Yeah, you wear your knit caps, your what do you call them? Toboggans? Boggans?
Or the one word. It's
whatever it is, you wear them.
No, it starts with a T. It's Canadian.
Toboggan?
No.
See, I always thought toboggan
Now
was a
you gotta
sled.
look it up. Toque.
You made that word up.
I did not.
You totally made that up.
Toque. I wear a toque.
Yes, you wear a toque. All right. So I figured you knew that you played with your hair because you're like, I'm either going to shave this thing off or I'm going to start wearing a hat. Yeah. Well, if you want, I was thinking we could start like maybe a GoFundMe thing for you to get better hair pieces.
I suppose.
You want to do that?
Actually, that would be pretty fantastic because dealing with this rat nest is
It's not that
exhausting.
bad.
You try and blow dry it.
No.
It's quite thick. I get a lot of knots.
You think it's worse than, let's say, like Diana's?
No.
No, nothing's worse than that. She looks like Dee Snider.
Wait, what? I totally misheard and understand and answered that one. Because I was like...
All right, question number 4.
This is actually blonde underneath.
Is it?
No.
Oh, that would be incredible. That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. Yeah, are you trying to complete the whole hooker line from Mirabilia? Is that what you're trying to do? Get the complete set?
I would not...
Because you're doing like all of them.
No.
You're kind of like a pimp in a way. You got all these girls
I'm nice.
working for you.
I treat them well.
How many have you done? Or not even done, like started?
3 water Essies and 3 land ones. 6.
So that's you divide them by whether they're water-based or land-based?
Yes.
That's interesting. Okay, so what did you say you had 6?
I think 6.
How many are there?
Too many.
You're gonna do them all? You gotta complete the set. They're like Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
No.
Why not?
I don't have that much money.
You could have a total harem. A harem of Mirabilia and Lavender and Lace hookers.
Oh, I didn't even count Lavender and Lace. I've got 2 more, so I've got 8.
There you go.
And a half.
That's almost a baseball team.
Is it? I don't know anything about sports.
Wow, Jesus. Now, Seattle has a baseball team.
It does. I've been to 2 of their games.
And probably when you...
In the Kingdom before it blew up. And then in the new one.
And back when you lived there, which was...
Eons ago.
Yeah, they were actually pretty decent.
I wouldn't know.
All right, last question. If you could fight anyone from history, any famous person, alive or dead, for 3 2-minute rounds, who would you fight?
I've been waiting for this question.
Oh, Jesus.
Is
it a pony?
I'm really going to up the ante on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to...
Please don't pick a handicapped person, because that's what you stitchers murder often do.
It's going to be someone in the cross-stitch community.
All right.
And it's going to be a designer.
Okay, thank God. I was getting worried. I'm like, wait, she's describing me. Is she about to sucker punch me in the face?
No.
So you're going to beat up a designer?
Uh-huh.
I have a feeling this is going to come with a story.
Yeah. I found out they plagiarized someone on the internet.
Okay.
Like, completely plagiarized them. Found an image online.
Okay.
Put it in their program and just copied it into cross stitch and put it out as an original design.
Okay. So wait. Is this was it already a cross stitch pattern?
No, it was just some graphic artist.
Oh, okay. So it was a piece of art, and they just took it, converted it to a chart, and then said it was their own?
Yes, no obvious changes. I have the photos, and I will show you, but they just completely plagiarized it. So I tracked down the original artist.
Okay.
And
is it a well-known artist?
I don't think so.
It's small enough to go into the radar that no one's seen it before. I mean,
the subject matter was not exactly something everyone would be looking for.
Unicorns?
No. This one had 2 horns. But so I found the artist and I emailed them, and then they were like, this is my most stolen artwork, and they dealt with it. And then I looked, and the cross-stitch murder designer took the pattern down.
Serious?
Mm-hmm. So I would fight them, because that still makes me mad.
You're like Michael Moore. Which could be insulting. I'll just say you don't look like Michael Moore, but I mean you're like the Michael Moore of the cross-stitch murder community.
I will take it.
So,
because this happened at the beginning of the summer, and I'm still pissed about it.
Okay, so not that I'll know them, but who was it?
Are we gonna cut this part out?
Yeah, so don't even say it. Don't even say it then. So, have they done it again since?
Well, that's the thing. It was a fluke that I even found this out.
Okay.
So.
And you were looking through their charts. Did you know the artwork before the chart, or did you?
I was looking for a specific subject of cross stitch.
Murder.
Yep. And I found one of their patterns, and I was like, okay, I could get on board with that, but I was like, still not so sure about it. So I just decided to look in Google at images of the subject, not of cross stitch, but of just what I was wanting. And I found it, and I was like, that looks very familiar. And then
you're not gonna get anything by Evergreen. It's not gonna happen. It's too quick. Try to get one over her head, and she'll grab it.
Mm-hmm. So I do not trust this person to have completely original designs if they've already done this.
I'm sorry, I didn't finish my question. Okay. Have you gone back on to have you seen anything else that they've done that you're like?
Nothing that stands out, but that's the thing. How I don't know, because I'd have to randomly see this other artwork.
And that's crazy. So
the internet is huge, but it is small, and you will get found out.
So you had just, and you didn't know that other artist at all.
No.
And then you just messaged him out of the blue, like some crazy.
I had to click on a lot of links because
because they don't want to talk to you.
The image is all over the internet, so trying to find the original artist.
Right.
It didn't take that long. It took maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
Found their blog, found their contact email, and sent them an email.
And then he told you that he went after the designer, and that's why the designer took it down?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Fiendish. Don't cross her.
Do not.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add to this? Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Rock and roll. Guns N' Roses at her next. It's gonna happen. It'll be on her next video. Make it happen.
Rose is weird.
Oh yeah, but Kurt Cobain, sexy.
We can't have him instead. Then dig him up.
We've discussed this. There's a line, and on this side of the line, we don't dig dead people up and marry them.
Not yet.
Well, thank you very much. So, yeah, you kind of got to bear with the audio in that interview. We did it in a steel factory, so it gets kind of hard to hear at points. But, so I wanted to give a quick apology to Katniss because I flat out forgot to bring a t-shirt for her to have. Yeah, I felt terrible. And the funny thing was, it was like 2 days after the interview, and I was just, driving my car along and just went, oh crap, I never gave her a shirt. And yeah, I apologized to her. I sent her a shirt in the mail, and I still feel terrible. She's the only one that didn't get one right after the interview. And I know that's really the only reason anyone does any of these interviews, for a cheap shirt. Darling Bluebell has been on my ass forever. She wants to hear some Amsterdam stories back when I was touring in my band. And so I told her that I would do my most favorite tour story of all time. It actually happened. It wasn't Amsterdam. I believe it was. I'm gonna murder this name, by the way. I believe it was called Utrecht or something like that. I don't know how to say it, but it's a town, I don't know, right outside of Amsterdam. But so the story starts with us flying into Germany, to Frankfurt, and then skipping right over to Amsterdam. And we started the tour in Amsterdam, went all the way around for like a little over a month, and then landed back in Amsterdam at the very end. And honestly, we saw some stuff. It was cool, but we really just saw a lot of roads, a lot of, hostels and stuff like that. We didn't really get to see much cool stuff. It was a great time, though. So we decided that last day of tour, we're leaving the next day after the show in Amsterdam and in Holland. We're gonna do something. We're gonna go out and we're gonna see something in Utrecht. And the whole band, no one drank, no one smoked, no one did drugs. No, it was nothing like the only bad people in the band were me and the drummer. And the drummer was a bit of a pothead, and he gets this brilliant idea that, he wants to go, find a coffee shop. Now, in Holland, we had heard you could just go to a store, weed is legal. You can just go to a marijuana shop, a head shop, and just buy weed. And he's like, I want to see it. I want to go to it. And the brilliant guy that he is, he's like, I'm going to buy a bunch of it and tuck it in my sock and smuggle it back to the U.S. And yeah, because I'm sure people at U.S. Customs aren't going to think that 5, 22-year-olds coming back from Amsterdam aren't there, partying. So I had heard a rumor that you can go to the coffee shops and you buy the marijuana, you buy a milkshake, and they will put the weed into the milkshake. They grind it up, put it in, and put it right into the milkshake, and you drink it. You're drinking weed. I was like, that's the coolest thing. So we're at the last show. Do the last show. Show's over. Actually, I'm sorry. Before the show, this girl came up to me and she was talking to me, and I was talking to her about what's around in Holland, and she was telling me all this stuff. And of course, the drummer comes over and he's like, I want to go to one of these coffee shops. I want to go to one of these shops where I can buy marijuana from. And she's like, they're all over the place. There's one that's just a few blocks down the road. You know, she's like, I go to it all the time. It's great. And I said, will they mix it up into a milkshake? And she's like, yeah, I guess, if you're an American. Yeah, why, you know, I guess they do. Why would you want that, though? And I'm like, I want it. That's cool. I want to try it. So she said, okay, after the show, we will go and I'll take you out there. We said, all right, cool. So after our show's over, we're kind of hanging out, and she comes up and she goes, do you guys want to get going? And we were like, well, you know, they're going to feed us. You know, we did the show. They're going to give us dinner for free. And so we're going to eat, and then we'll go after we eat. And she goes, all right, that's fine. And we're like, you know, come eat with us, hang out. And she's like, all right, that's cool, that's fine. And she says, you guys want to smoke before we eat? I said, sure, yeah, okay. So she takes out her bag, lays it out, puts the weed down, and she starts sprinkling this powdery, ashy stuff over the top. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I mean, whatever. We're in Holland. I'm sure they have customs and traditions that I'm not used to, whatever. And she rolls it up like a champ, like freaking Bob Marley. She's like, and we're done. Light it. And so we all smoke, and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, all right. You know, it really actually wasn't that powerful at all, you know? And we go into the little cafeteria area, and we all eat. And we're just sitting there. It's like 30 minutes, 30, 35 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes sitting there. And the drummer's next to me, and he leans over and he goes, dude, are you feeling that at all? And I'm like, no, nothing. I got nothing on that. He's like, me neither. That's some weak shit. I hope the stuff that we get at the coffee shops are better. And I'm like, I could care less. It's free weed, you know. I'm not going to complain about it. So she says to us, you know, hey, it's going to get dark soon. You want to get going here? And we said, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I stand up, and as soon as I stand up, the entire room does this. And I immediately sit back down. I swear to God, I stand up and then sit right back down. And I'm sitting there like this. Okay? Just completely having a freak out in my mind. Okay? I look over at my drummer. Drummer's doing this. We are completely wrecked. It hit us so hard at that moment. I don't know what type of weird time release stuff that they have, but it waited until the worst time and then hit us. By the way, later on we found out that the Dutch put hash in their joints. Like, it's a very normal, customary thing to do. You know, we had never had that experience before, and and that's what we were experiencing. So she's like, let's go, and I'm like, okay. Immediately I go into like drunk guy trying to find his way home. It's like, okay, just take a step with your right foot, put it out there. There it is. Okay, let's do it with the left foot now, and we are down. Good. All right, hold the handrail. Okay, we are going to put one leg on the first step. Great. Things are going, you know what I mean? It was just like instant like damage control. Like, okay, just be cool. Just be cool. Don't freak out. Okay, just be cool. So we get out to the street and she makes the left and we just start walking. And we're walking, we're talking, just bull crapping all the way down the, you know. We actually get to a river. It's really cool. It was a river with sides of the street here, and the river was down in the bottom, and you just walked right alongside it. It was really cool. Buildings right on it, little kiosks and stuff selling stuff down there, and then there were bridges, and we would go down and cut over a bridge, and then go down and cut back again. You know, like, there was a certain way you had to go, or else you would just run into like a, you know, stop, you know, a roadblock right there. And so we're walking, we're cutting, we go down a street and come back up and then come over again to the river, and we're cutting back and forth in the river, and we're like, it feels like we've been walking for a while here, like, how much further is it? And she says, it's right over here, it's like a block up here, it's down under the road. Like, really? And she takes us down there, and there's staircases going down to the river, like the actual river side. And you can go down there, and sure enough, there are shops that go up under the road we were just walking on. And it was like a total Clockwork Orange feeling, by the way. We go into this place, and it's like a half dome. You have to duck your head. It's dark, and people are just sitting around, like, not talking or doing anything, just like baked out of their minds. And so we walk up, and there's a cash register right in the front. It's like a Starbucks, you know. You walk in, there's the register right there, and there's the woman taking orders, and she says, you know, by the way, a lot of stuff was said in Dutch, and then I'd say, what? And they'd go, what would you like? You know, like stupid Americans. So she says, you know, what would you like? And I'm like, I don't know, weed? Like, what do you have? The number 2? I don't know how I order these things, you know? Is it like ordering Chinese food? And she says, hold on, and she takes out this menu. I swear to God, it's a menu like you would get at IHOP, and she puts it down. And this establishment was so Americanized that there were no words on the menu at all, just pictures. You'd open the menu, and there'd be a picture of a guy, and he'd be laying out in a meadow in shorts in the grass with the sun beating on him. And you turn the page, and there's a moon and a rocket ship going over it, and a little dude in the window of the rocket ship. And you just told them, give me the rocket ship one. Give me, you know, like, I swear to God, that's how you ordered. And I looked and I said, I don't know, give me this one. And they said, okay. And I'm like, hey, can you mix that up into a milkshake, by the way? And she's like, yeah, we can do that. And I'm like, great. What flavors do you have? And the girl that brought us there said, banana is the only flavor. They don't embarrass yourself here. Like, try and be cool. They have milkshake flavored milkshakes. Okay. This isn't Burger King. You can't have it your way. Okay. We're gonna mix it up in what we mix it up in. So we sit down, we're hanging out, we're talking. They bring 2 milkshakes, because the drummer ordered one too. Put it down, and these things were like big gulps, okay? And we start drinking. Okay. This is what it's like drinking weed that's been mixed into a milkshake. Go to Wendy's and get a Frosty, but make the Frosty banana flavored, not chocolate. Get a banana flavored Frosty. Take chunks of dirt and rocks and sprinkle them in there and mix it in. And then try and drink it. It's literally like you're getting chunks of stuff. They don't actually grind it up. They just sprinkle it in there, and then you just drink it. I would have gotten the same effect if I just took a handful of weed and ate it, and then washed it down with a milkshake. So now it's an hour later, I'm halfway through this milkshake, maybe a little bit more, and I'm like, I can't drink any more of this. This is just too heavy. And number two, I am blasted out of my mind because the hash and the weed from before, and now I'm drinking more here. I'm like, I got the giggles. I'm just I'm just happy to be anywhere right now. Drummer's the same way. The girl's completely fine because she's used to it. She's like Americans. And so we're like, all right, it's getting late. Let's go ahead and head out. She's like, okay. Go out the door, up the stairs to the street. It's pitch black. I mean, it got dark. I mean, there's street lights and everything, but it's dark. And she says, all right, well, it was great meeting you. Have a good flight tomorrow. And she starts to leave. And we said, whoa, hold on. Where are you going? And she says, that's my house. My apartment is right up there. Like, you can see it from here. So I go this way. And we're like, wait, we have no idea where we are. Like, we walked for anywhere between 5 minutes and 55 minutes because we have no idea of space and time right now. So, and plus we did all this stuff coming here. Like, it wasn't a straight line. What do we do? She says, oh, okay. All right. No problem. Okay. So you head down the river, you go right over the bridge, make a left, make a sharp left, come back over the bridge, go down a block, take a right, go down 2 blocks, come back, then go over the bridge, come back 1, back up that bridge, down under. And we're just like, And she says, okay, got it. And we said, yep. And she said, goodbye. We said, see ya. And she left, and we started walking. And we got about a block down, and I turned to the drummer. I said, did you get anything she said? Like, did you understand a single word, like what she was talking about? And he said, who said? Yeah. I said, this is how 2 Americans get murdered in Holland, right here. They're going to find us floating in that river. So we start walking. And when we saw a bridge, we crossed it. And when we saw an alley, we went down it and then came back. And then we just kept going. Like, that was just how we did it. And we walked for what seemed like an hour. Okay? But we never backtracked. But we just kept walking. And so, and this, by the way, early 2000s, we didn't have cell phones. Okay? So we weren't just going to, like, call our friend. But I was like, okay, look, can you remember the name of the club? Because I'm going to have to ask someone here where this club is. Maybe that's how we get back. And he's like, no, I don't even remember what the club looked like. And I'm like, great. So I said, all right, I'm gonna stop and ask this person. And I kind of go to this van and stop, and I said, hey, excuse me. The person turned around, and it was our bass player. And I went, Graham. And he's like, hey, where have you guys been? And we were like, holy shit, I'm so glad to see you. I mean, it was like we had just flown back from Vietnam or something. We were like hugging people like, oh, we'll never leave you again, and like to this day, like I don't think they had any idea where we were or what we were doing. Yeah, that's my Holland tour. The next day we got on the flight and flew home. It was amazing. It was a great trip. There actually is another story that has to do with Amsterdam. We actually went into Amsterdam at one point, and we walked down the red light district in Holland, where all the prostitution is. And but that'll have to be a story for another time. But anyway, I want to give a big thanks to Katniss for being the awesome badass chick that she is, and coming on and doing the interview, and not suing me for discrimination for not giving her a shirt. And thanks for watching, and go floss yourself.